Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever time of day this video finds you. It's your boy Jay here, and we are once again speculating on Monster Hunter Wilds, which is something we're going to be doing for a long time, as the trailer just dropped, and we got a 2025 release window of sorts, right? And I just want to talk a little bit about what the structure of the next game could possibly be, right? So a lot of people are speculating, oh my god, we're gonna get open world Monster Hunter, right? And when you say it on paper, it sounds incredible, right? Like, damn, open world Monster Hunter sounds amazing. But I don't know, the more I watch the trailer and the more I think about it, and I have time to let it set in and really take in what I've watched when it comes to this trailer and really think about it, I'm not sure we're gonna get open world in like the traditional sense, right? In the Breath of the Wild sense, right? Where you boot the game up, you can go kill Ganon right now if you want, if even with a stick, and you could be butt naked. You ain't gotta go all around this map and do this thing in this certain order. You could just go right now, right? Like I'm not really sure that kind of open world will really apply to a Monster Hunter game, right? Like you boot the game up, I can run straight to the final boss and just kill it. Like, aren't we gonna do the whole thing with the flagship is causing some trouble in the environment and we gotta stop it, or then no, it wasn't really the flagship that you just killed, there's a new final boss and it's causing all the trouble, right? So for that kind of story to develop, you kind of need to do things in a specific order where open world doesn't really suit, well, traditional open world, let me say it like that. Traditional open world doesn't really suit that kind of format, right? So are we gonna boot the game up and we're immediately gonna know what the big bad is and we can just go straight to it? I don't know, man. It doesn't really seem very Monster Hunter-esque, right? And when you think about the structure of a Monster Hunter game, different monsters fit in different categories, right? Their star levels, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star. It goes all the way up to 8, 9, 10 star, and then Master Rank has its own ranking system amongst the monsters. So if the game is open world, can I boot the game up and then have a Kushala Daora just pull up on me off rip? Like, is that possible? Or maybe they won't spawn until you do a certain specific thing in the game, so you have to go back to the main hub or the city or the middle of the map or wherever we start before you can progress. Like it just really makes me think, like, does the traditional open world really suit Monster Hunter? I'm not sure. Now, don't get me wrong, Capcom could do whatever the hell they want to do, right? Capcom could pull it off, if anybody, right? Capcom could pull it off, but I don't know. And then there's games like Elden Ring, right, where yeah, there's kind of a specific order that you do have to go through, right? Like you gotta fight Margot the Fell, right, to really open the game up, and then you can kind of pick and choose which bosses you want to fight, here and there. Like, you don't have to fight every boss in Elden Ring to beat the game, right? But there is a specific order, you know what I'm saying? Like you are gonna fight Horolo, you're gonna fight Godfrey, you're gonna fight specific fights on the way to the final boss, right? Because that's just how the game is structured, right? We could get an open world like that, right? Where as you go through the map, there are certain monsters that lie in wait for you that you have to take down before you could progress somehow, right? That is a way that could be done, you know what I mean? And then also the thing about like the map being, open world, boom, it's open world, we're just gonna get one giant map, that's it. I don't know, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about that idea either. I think I would prefer 2 or maybe even 3 really big maps that contain multiple biomes, right? Think the Citadel from Sunbreak, right? The Citadel has like the swampy forest area. It's got the city, the ruined city area, and then it's got the cold area up front, right? And that's how we can have a map that can have, Teostra, Kushala, and Chameleos all at the same time, because there's different parts of the map that have different climate that suit different monsters. That's cool. And that I think I want like 2 or 3 really big versions of that, right? Kind of like Guiding Lands, but like way bigger and way more fleshed out, right? That way you could kind of section off certain monsters to certain maps, right? And as you progress through the game, you unlock, we're gonna go to this new map over here, or this new area of the planet, the world over here, and stronger monsters are over here. And then you go to the third map and these are the strongest of the strong monsters, and that way there's a progression, right? So let's just say, hypothetically, on the first really big Guiding Lands-esque type map, you got your 1-star, your 2-star, and maybe, you get a 3-star urgent on that map, which earns you the right to go back to the city or the camp or whatever the hell they've got, and then you can ship out to this new island. And then on the new island, you'll have 3-star and 4-star, and then you'll have, your 5-star urgent. And then after your 5-star urgent, you can go to the third map, which has, your super powerful, tough monsters all over the place, invaders going crazy. They can cut the training wheels off in the middle of the second map. Or when you go to the third map, they're like, hey, third map is high rank only, baby. Training wheels off. Devil Joe coming to kill you right now. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? But by that time, you're already used to playing the game. You already have enough experience. You've been hunting for a while. And boom, you know what I'm saying? Rather than one big giant map where you may run into an issue of like, okay, how do we scale the map out? You know what I'm saying? Like, when I think of another open world game, so to speak, quote unquote, Pokemon has this issue, right? It's like, hey, there's gym leaders all across the map. You can fight them at any point you want, but there is a specific order that you're supposed to fight them in, right? And like, people were like, man, I wish the game scaled to you. That way the gym leaders would be, always at the level you need them to be. Well, like, could we do the same thing with Monster Hunter and monsters, right? If it's just one giant map and like you wander off, Elder Dragon pulls up on you, or is the Elder Dragon like locked away and it won't show up until you do XYZ in the story? You see what I'm getting at? Like, but then at that point, like, it's really hard to reward exploration. Like, is it the edges of the map and we start in the middle, so the edges of the map contain the strongest monsters, and then, the closer to the hub, the town, the wherever you start at, wherever you prepare, the easier the monsters get. And then, like, as you go further and further away from the town, if you think like a spider web, or like if you pull up a map of a big city, there's like a loop and then there's a bigger loop, whereas as you go further away from the center, I guess the monsters could get stronger, and then invaders could track you all over the map. I don't know. I'm really sitting down and thinking about it, and I'm really struggling to see how the traditional open world, go do whatever you want, suits Monster Hunter when it's always been so structured, right? It's always been, here's 1-star quests, you got a 1-star urgent, boom. Here's your 2-star quests, you got the 2-star urgent, boom. Here's 3-star quests, you got the 3-star urgent, boom, right? Like, there's always been a progression, and then as you go through, you upgrade your weapons and your armor as you see fit, as you hunt monsters. So I don't know, I'm not entirely sold on the idea of, traditional super open world, go wherever, do whatever, blah, Monster Hunter. And like, how would the story even play out, right? Because that was the criticism of Breath of the Wild when it came out. It was like, man, this story kind of weak. It kind of has to be, so you can do it in any order, and so you could skip it, so you could just, boom, go get lost, right? But how do we do that with Monster Hunter, right? Like, there are certain monsters that are introduced to you at a certain point, and it means a lot, like the Lagiacrus in Monster Hunter Tri. Like, it showed up early in the game and they were like, oh my god, Hunter, you're gonna get killed, just run away. And it's like damn near unkillable. Like, it's kind of buffed because you gotta run into it later and slay it because you're too weak of a hunter. But like, in an open world, I guess that would be cool. Like, you could run into a monster, get your ass whooped, and be like, oh, well, I guess I can't do this now. And then you gotta go do some quests that send you out on the map and then get stronger later and then come back and try and find it again, or I don't know. But don't get me wrong, the idea of an open world Monster Hunter does sound amazing. Like, it does sound amazing. But the more I think about it, and the more knowing what I know about Monster Hunter currently, I'm like, does it really fit? How would they do it? I'm interested to see how they do it. I'm interested to see how this turns out. Obviously, I'm super excited. I'm here speculating on the game. So I don't know. I think I would really prefer 2 or 3 Citadel or like Guiding Lands type maps that are way bigger, right? And then we could progress through each each map over time, and then by the time you get to the third map, and then, you know, the master rank expansion adds maybe another map, and, you know, because it's master rank, it's all on a level playing field. Boom, you get the one new map, and then you get to roam around that and do the master rank story and go through that. But the more I sit down and think about it, I'm like, I don't know if the traditional open world, go anywhere, do anything, beat the game right now or not, would really work for Monster Hunter. Let me know how you feel in the comments down below. Am I onto something? Am I tripping? Don't know. It's too early. Game comes out in 2025. I'm just here speculating. I'm really taking in this trailer, watching it, and I'm like, would open world really work? Or are we just gonna get like maybe only 2 maps, but they're huge and they have all the biomes so that monsters can wander around and you can discover things and really create your own narrative, create your own adventure, right? Which is the cool part about open world games. Like, you get dropped in and all of us are going to be talking about the same, you know, 1 or 2 maps, and hey bro, did you run into XYZ here? Nah, but XYZ pulled up on me over here and I was like, and I died, you know, and that will foster conversation and hype, and, you know, everybody will want to talk about their story, right? Because while we're all playing the same game, we're not going to play the same game the same way, right? Tears of the Kingdom, you write your own story. I played that game all out of order. And I loved it. I was just wandering around the map doing stuff, and I was like, oh, I was supposed to do this, then this, but I did it out of order. And you know what? I wrote my own story. I wrote my own story within the story that they were trying to tell in Tears of the Kingdom, and I do love that game for that. So yeah, like I said, comment down below how you feel about this. Do you think it's really going to be traditionally open world, or are we just going to get big maps and we're still going to have more of the structure like we used to? What do you think Capcom's going to do? Let me know in the comments down below, and as always, people, happy hunting. Peace.